After 2 assassination attempts, Donald Trump is officially the 47th president of the United States. Need I say more? Let me know your thoughts because I'm going to let you know mine. Welcome to For the Record. I'm your host, Alex, and today Donald J. Trump was just inaugurated as the 47th president of the United States. I have a lot to say about this, so let's get into it. First of all, if you're a little bit of a history geek, you all probably already know this, but Donald Trump is the second president to ever be elected twice non-consecutively, so that's just a little fun fact. But I want to talk about his speech. He had a lot of great things to say in it. I think it was probably the best inauguration speech that I've ever heard in my life. And I want to talk about, what I think is the most important part of what he said. He said, "We will not forget our country, we will not forget our Constitution, and we will not forget our God." I think that we have honestly forgotten our God, not only just within the past 4 years, but since Obama, especially because he went ahead and said that we do not consider ourselves a Christian nation or a Jewish nation. And the moment that we forget our God is the moment that we forget the principles that we were founded on. As America, it's undeniable that we were founded upon basic Christian principles. Now, you can come against us and say, well, you know, those people, they did this and this and this bad. That does not take away from the fact that we were still founded upon these basic Christian principles. And I think Dwight D. Eisenhower actually has a great quote on this. He says, "Without God, there could be no American form of government, nor an American way of life. Recognition of the supreme being is the first, the most basic expression of Americanism. Thus, the founding fathers saw it, and thus, with God's help, it will continue to be." And I think that we are thankfully and hopefully starting to see that make a comeback. Now, one of the things that I'm most excited about, speaking of basic Christian principles, is Donald Trump has announced that the official policy of the U.S. government will be that there are only 2 genders, male and female. Basic Christian principles. So Genesis 1 verses 27 says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female. He created them." Boom. I'm so excited about this because it's not only Christian principles, it's that and it's common sense. To deny the basic fact that there are only 2 sexes, male and female, it's to deny science and it's to deny God's design. So I'm absolutely stoked that this is happening right now. And speaking of common sense, one of the funnier parts of his speech was that he said, "We're starting a revolution of common sense." He said, "It's all about common sense." And I am just so happy that this is making a comeback. And I think this goes to show one thing, that the American people are tired of the nonsense. We've been being fed a narrative, it's being pushed down our throats, that men can be women, and also that, if you haven't seen this, that pedophilia is not a crime, it's a disorder. So we have been being fed disgusting, nonsensical things, and we are just tired of it. So yes, we are starting a revolution of common sense. Thank you, Donald Trump, for saying that. I'm not even, if you're like, oh, this is Trumpy, I'm not even like a forever Trumper. I have things that Donald Trump, I don't think you do this well, but honestly, this speech was amazing. It was super encouraging as an American citizen, and I can see the bright future that we have with him being our 47th president, and I'm just so thankful that he was elected and that the American people voted him in, because we also saw that with the popular vote, so that's exciting. All right, now, one of the other super important things that he did was he declared a national emergency at the southern border, and he designated foreign cartels as terrorist organizations. This is absolutely huge. I remember when I was in a homeschooling group, and I was talking about Donald Trump and the fact that I supported him, and somebody in my class was like, "Oh, that surprises me because, like, you're Hispanic." And I was like, wow, this is crazy. Just because I'm Hispanic doesn't mean that I have to form my opinions based off of my background. The reason that I'm voting for Trump is because we see stories like Laken Riley, where if we had had better policies at the southern border, something like that would never have happened to her. At least it wouldn't have happened to her on our own hands. That is completely the fault of the American government. That should have never happened. And so We don't vote based off of our skin color. We vote based off of logic and morals. So Trump actually said something, and it was along the lines of that our nation will become a color-blind nation, meaning we're not seeing anything out of the lens of color and race, but it will be founded back on merit. And so actually a very fitting quote for the inauguration landing on MLK Day as well. All right. Another very, very amazing thing that I saw him mention was he is reinstating any service members who were expelled from the military for objecting to the COVID vaccine. And not only that, he is doing it with full back pay. So they are going to get the justice that they deserve. I'm so excited for them because these families are getting what they deserve. They were treated horribly. This is supposed to be the land of the free and the home of the brave. It is still the home of the brave, as we can see, but we were starting to also see that maybe this isn't as much of the land of the free as we thought it was if you can't decline a simple vaccine and keep your job. So I'm so glad that Trump is making that change. I wasn't really a fan of how Trump handled the whole vaccine thing in the beginning, but I'm absolutely going to support this because this is positively impacting people who took a stand for what they believed in and deserved to have the right to do that. So thank you for doing that. I'm praying for those families, and I'm just so happy that they're being blessed with what they deserve, honestly. Okay, also, the hostages in the Middle East yesterday, one day before Donald Trump took office, they are coming back home to their families. That it's official now. Something that hasn't been done the entire Biden administration is done one day before Trump takes office. And I know people are going to try and attribute that to Biden. I don't really think that's possible. I think that it's Trump that did that. They weren't scared of Biden. The only reason that they got down to business is because Trump was getting in office, and I believe that he probably threatened them. And that's what he should do, because we should not be having hostages for over a year on our hands. That's absolutely disgusting, and I think the Biden administration should be ashamed of themselves for that. But I'm so grateful that they are coming back to their families where they belong. One of my favorite parts, actually, I keep saying that because everything is almost my favorite part. He says, "Together we will end the chronic disease epidemic and keep our children safe, healthy, and disease-free." I would love to see how him and RFK are going to try and implement this, because I think this is probably one of the most pressing issues today, too. We're seeing children, a lot of children, American children, struggling with obesity and diabetes. They have fatty liver, and it's just things that normal children should not struggle with. They were born healthy. What happened? And I know that RFK, he has taken a lot of people to task on this legally, and he's done a great job with that. So I'm really curious to see where he's going to take that. But I'm glad that we finally have an administration that's taking this seriously and not just pretending that it doesn't exist. We can't just keep giving children vaccines, pumping them up with formaldehyde, and pretending like we're going to be okay, because we're not. And we're seeing these declining health rates. If we don't have a healthy nation, then how are we going to be able to keep it alive? So I'm really glad that he's actually taking this upon himself. And I'm glad that RFK is on the team to make that a reality. Okay, a couple fun things. They are not necessarily, I don't think this is a huge deal, but I think it's hilarious. Apparently, he's changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. I didn't even know that we could do this, honestly, but I actually just think it's hilarious. I don't really have any feelings for or against this, but to me, it's just a really funny thing. He is also planning on planting the stars and stripes on the planet Mars. So planting the flag there. People are seeing this. I wonder how this is going to go, because I know a lot of people don't believe in the moon landing. I want to know your thoughts on that, actually. What do you think? Do you think the moon landing was real or not? But apparently we're going to do that, and we're going to land instead of the moon on Mars and place the flag there. And then when it panned to Elon Musk, he was like, yeah. It was kind of funny. All right. And then one one last thing that I do want to mention. He is ending the Green New Deal. I wish that he would end FDR's New Deal too, but I'll take what I can get. He's ending the Green New Deal, and he said, in other words, you will be able to buy the car of your choice. I have a diesel car, so this was a great news for me. I'm also low-key a hater of electric vehicles. Sorry, Elon. I think they're ugly, and I think they're a little inefficient. I like my gas. But he also did, by the way, declare a national energy emergency, and he said, we're going to drill, baby, drill. So that was a lot that was covered in the speech. I didn't even cover everything, by the way. That was just some of the bigger things. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you didn't watch it, you should watch it for yourself. It was great. And if you're a Christian and you're listening to this, we won this election, but that doesn't mean that we should stop praying for our nation. We should be still praying for Donald Trump. We should be praying that he will be safe, that he'll be able to effectively do all that he's promising, and that if there is something that he's doing that is wrong, we pray that God would show him what's right. Like abortion. We pray that God would open his eyes that, yes, this is something that should be banned because this is wrong. So we still need to pray. God is ultimately in control, but I think we should be celebrating right now because, as Donald Trump said, the golden era of America is here. Thank you for watching For the Record. I'm your host, Alex. If you're new here, like, comment, subscribe, and join the discussion. I'll see you next time.